Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fit Vegans Rock. This is Shani Collins Woods, and today we are making an old school traditional Southern breakfast of eggs, plant-based sausage, as well as cheese grits. So what you'll need is 1 container and a half of the liquid just egg. So I'm starting off with 1 container. Later on, I add the additional half. So open your container. Before you get started, make sure you spray that bowl with some non-stick spray. I use olive oil spray. So pour that whole container into your mixing bowl, and you're just going to make sure you add all of that in. Behind me I have my pan going. It's on low, and I didn't put any spray in the pan. Next we're going to add these seasonings. I have salt-free seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, as well as onion flakes or mixed onion. So you just add those right to your egg blend and get you a good fork, and you stir this up to make it a scramble. So this is going to be a scrambled egg dish. So you blend and scramble. Next you will add your vegan cheese. So get plant-based cheese of your choice. You can use any variety of cheeses. There are lots of different ones on the market. So I added a handful of cheese to my egg blend, and you're just gonna go back in and mix the seasonings, the cheese, and the eggs together. And once you have those mixed well, make sure you do a good job at mixing, okay? You're going to go and get your pan and add the ingredients to the pan that is warm or heating already. So make sure you spray some of that olive oil spray into your pan because you don't want everything to stick. So spray the sides, spray that pan, and just pour in your egg blend into the pan. And make sure your stove, whether you have a electric or gas, I'm using an electric stove, make sure your setting is on medium high to high. And remember, you don't want everything to cook too fast, so cook your eggs appropriately, but make sure you want all your food to come out sort of at the same time and everything to be hot. So I am using medium high heat for my eggs. And so next we're going to move on to our sausages. After we give those eggs a nice little stir, we're going to move on to making our sausages. And again, this dish can get pretty messy, so make sure you have some paper towels or towels to the side. So next you will need 1 packet of the Impossible sausage. I think those are breakfast sausages, but they just say you can use them for anything. So you cut the ends off the sausage, have a large plate, and squeeze out those sausages onto that plate. Now, I use the spicy blend for this particular recipe, but I have tried the original. Timothy likes a lot of spicy food, and I've been sort of getting into it over the years, but I don't care too much for spicy. So you squeeze all of this out onto the plate, and make sure you season this, okay? Because I made some a few weeks ago, and I was thinking, oh, spicy, I don't need to add additional seasoning. No, it was just bland. So I'm using my traditional seasonings, again, of minced onion. So I'm going back in and layering that pretty well. And I am going back to add some of the garlic powder. Adding that good garlic powder. All of that salt-free. Next, I'm going in to add my onion powder to the sausages. And finally, I'm going to go back in with the salt-free seasoning. I'm just adding a little bit of that on. And again, as I move through this dish, I'm going to go back and relayer the seasoning. You see I have my skillet, which is heating up to the side. And so you're just going to blend all of those seasonings into that plant-based Impossible sausage. So you're blending this in. Make sure you add your own spices. And again, this is very hot. So, you know, if you like hot food, this sausage should be something that is good to your palate. And what you're going to do is to shape those sausage patties into a ball and then flatten them out a little bit with your hand. As you can see, they already have a lot of oil, so I don't add any oil to my pan or my skillet. I'm just dropping those right on because those sausages do create their own oil. They have a layer of plant-based oil in them. So you don't really need additional oil for that pan. And so from this 1 packet, I was able to make 5 medium to large size sausages. And remember, these sausages, once you flatten them out with your spatula, they will continue to, expand. So these are going to be generous portions of sausage, so keep that in mind. And if you're cooking for a larger group of people, just buy 2 or 3 packets of the Impossible sausage, or make your sausages smaller. So we have those, and make sure you're spacing those out on your pan so that the sausages can, cook evenly. You can see those are pretty big, about the size of my palm, the center of my palm. And so as you continue to cook those, they're going to come out great. And as you can see, I went back in and added a little bit of water to my pan, and I'm just continuing to shift those around, move them from the front to the back, flipping those over. And my eggs are still behind me cooking. They are not cooking too fast, but because I had a large amount of liquid, those are going to take a little bit to cook. So as you can see, I went back to layer those same seasonings, and you can see those onions are getting really caramelized. I'm not a person who likes big old country onions, even though I'm a country girl. And I got this dish from my mom because on Sunday mornings, when we were going to church or maybe even trying to make it to Sunday school, my mom had to cook something really quick for my dad, my sister, and I, and she would just always do either sausage patty and toast, or if we had family over for the holidays, we would just have a good old-fashioned country breakfast like what I'm fixing today. And so you can see these patties are getting good and caramelized, and I'm going back in to poke holes in them because you want your food to cook from the inside out. Even though this is plant-based, you still want everything to be done from the inside out. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of maple syrup to my sausages because this is a sweet and spicy, savory type of sausage. So to kind of cut some of that heat, because I don't like a lot of heat, I'm adding some sweet. So this is going to be like a sweet heat sausage, okay? And so just continue to flick those, continue to make sure everything is, cooking thoroughly. Those onions are, getting caramelized, and everything is just looking really beautiful on that frying pan. So those are coming out really good. I just continue to flip those over, continue to make sure everything is cooking thoroughly. And the sausages are just really beautiful. And maple syrup is vegan, so you don't have to worry about it being non-vegan. I'm showing you the sausage and how it's looking, and you can see they're a little bit broken in half, so you can see that it's being cooked thoroughly. So now we're going to move back over to our eggs, and as you can see, they are still cooking, and because it was a lot of liquid, you can see those eggs are still runny, and we don't want runny eggs. We want our eggs to be a little bit firm. We don't want them to be hard, but we don't want them to be runny either. So now I'm going to go back in with some cheeses. That is vegan Parmesan, vegan cheddar, as well as a vegan Monterey blend. And I'm going to mix all those cheeses in. And again, I noted that I use 1 container and a half because of the amount of cheeses I added. I went back in and added about another half of the container of the Just Egg. And so you will see the final product. And so I'm still adjusting my heat and still cooking those eggs. So now let's move on to making our grits, cheese grits. And this is a modified version of G. Garvin's recipe, but I'm just using a quick version. So what you'll need is 2 packs of instant grits. You'll need some black pepper. You'll need some vegan butter. I didn't add any in this particular clip, but I did add some, as well as some vegan cheese, about a handful of it. And essentially what you do is get you a little bit of water, and you pop those grits right in the microwave. Now that cup had a little bit of brown sugar in it, so I didn't throw it away. I just added a little bit of water to it, but I don't typically add sugar to my grits. And so again, no sugar to my grits, but this is how they came out. And that was just simple ingredients. Those 2 packs of instant grits, cheese, pepper, water, and pop it in the microwave and stir. Continue to stir. So now we're going to move on to our eggs. As you can see, those eggs came out beautiful. They look beautiful. They are scrambled well. You can see those black pepper flakes as well as all that seasoning. Now we're going to add our maple syrup hot and spicy sausages there. They look divine. I mean, you can see all of those seasonings are well incorporated. You can see those onions are there and that they are caramelized. They're not too big and not off-putting to the palate. And so this is a good old-fashioned country breakfast. Now this is Tim's plate, but I'm going to show you adjusting my camera a little bit how I plated everything up, or how I typically like to plate. So I always like to go with my grits and my eggs first, and then I'll kind of throw my sausages on there. So so now we have the eggs plated as well as the 2 plant-based sausages, and you can see those sausages are pretty big. Now this is old country breakfast now, so make sure you go and work out after you eat this because you're gonna need to burn out these calories. And so I'm going in and just pouring out those creamy, delicious cheese grits onto that plate. And again, I use G. Garvin's recipe for cheese grits, and he has a Parmesan cheese grit recipe online that I've been using for years. And this is how Tim's plate came out. Doesn't that look good? See those eggs, and you can see everything is still hot, so you don't have to go back in and pop anything in the microwave because everything is still hot, because we kind of timed it well so that all the food comes out together and everything is still hot. And so Tim is like, oh, this food looks divine, and it really does taste good. So now I'm going to show you how I made my plate. And so I just started with a good clean plate. It had a little bit of grits right there. And so I didn't want as much food as Tim's, but I still had a generous portion this morning because I was hungry and I was thinking this is just kind of what I want to eat. And so I had some food in my home, and so I was just like, let me just cook it because plant-based food does spoil quickly. So if you get some, make sure you go ahead and cook it. But again, these are our cheese grits that we are plating up, and they just look divine to me. They taste really good. They are really creamy. You know, if I had a little baby or somebody running around the house, I would give my baby some cheese grits. Okay, and that's our plant-based sausage right there. You can see those beautiful onion flakes. And finally, I'm just going to add the remaining just egg to the skillet. Make sure you have a some warm water around, because those eggs can really stick to your pans and things. That's why I constantly advocate for non-stick spray. But we're just pouring that out right there, and you can see that plate looks really good, and it's a good portion. And so again, I attribute this recipe to my mother because we always had people over for the holidays or events, and they would just come to our house for breakfast after Thanksgiving, after Christmas. The next day, the next Sunday, everybody's at our house for breakfast, or if we were going to church or anything, and my mother would always have a good meal prepared for our family and people to send people back on the road. I'm adding some warm maple syrup to top off our sausage, and I just used the top from the maple syrup container. And so I'm just adding a little bit of that, and that's our breakfast. And that plate looks really, really good. And let me tell you something, that food is really, really good today, and I have to go get on my Peloton to work out. So I'm waving bye to y'all, but here's my review. Okay, hey everybody, this is Shani from Fit Vegans Rock. So this is what I call catch you a partner, life partner type of breakfast, okay? If you have been wanting to learn how to throw down in the kitchen, make some good old-fashioned southern breakfast, fix your partner or somebody you're intended to come on over, let me make you some brunch, let me make you some breakfast, okay? And you can make it vegan style, okay? It doesn't have to be filled out that pork and beef and all the extra stuff we are accustomed to. It can still be generous portions, but you just make sure you are working out throughout the week and working out consistently, so that if you do have like a cheat meal, which is, I would consider this to kind of be a cheat meal because it's kind of heavy, that everything kind of balances out. So I've prepared my plate, and I'm going to just taste this food because we have some spicy maple vegan sausages, impossible sausages. We have some vegan Parmesan cheese grits, and we have some vegan cheese eggs. So Tim is over there chowing down, and I want to just taste this food just to let you know how it tastes. And so I love to start with my eggs. I love just egg. It's delicious. It's creamy. I can taste the cheese. It's not salty. It's not overpowering. And again, I don't use a lot of salt because some of the cheeses have a little bit of salt in it. So if you're using additional salt, you're just having too much salt in your food, because the cheese already, when the way they make it, is processed with a little bit of salt. And even the sausages, I didn't put any salt. Everything was sort of, the ingredients I use are salt free, because sometimes the sausages already have a little bit of salt in it. So I went back to add some of that maple syrup to these sausages, and so you have a really good blend of that spicy as well as sweet. And maple syrup is vegan. Make you want to dance. So good. And this again reminds me of like Sunday mornings. My mom would fix breakfast when we were headed out to church or to like Bible study, and she wanted something quick. She would get Jimmy Dean sausages that come in a little roll. She would get 2, and she would get an onion, and she would chop that onion up. But she would have a big circle, so it wasn't like dice, it was circles, onions. And she would put that stuff in the pan, and all the while my mom was ironing, getting ready. The church music would be blasting on our radio. I mean blasting. And the house was filled with movement and activity as we were preparing to go to church. And sometimes there would be grits, but a lot of times there wasn't a whole lot of grits. But it would be like you could have some eggs and a sausage patty and a piece of toast and coffee, orange juice, and everybody's going out to church. But like during holidays and things, when my family would come down, my mom and dad would always, because we hosted a whole lot of, for my whole life I've grown up with us hosting events at our house. And so we would always host breakfast after Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so a lot of times it would be, you know, a traditional breakfast like this with eggs, sausage, grits. We would have biscuits, you know, just old fashioned food. So I'm a Southern girl, and I'm just trying to put a little twist on some of these recipes. And so I make Tim's plate a little bit heavier than mine. I gave him 2 sausages and a lot more grits, a lot more eggs. But this is so delicious. Very good and very filling. I'm gonna try these grits. And I really don't like a whole lot of grits. My mother loves grits. I don't like grits like that. But a few years ago, I was making some grits again. My cousins were at our home for like the holidays, and I was cooking breakfast. And so I was like looking up recipes. I was like, what G Garvin? I know y'all are familiar with G Garvin. If you Google this recipe, probably from 2004, maybe 2007, somewhere between 2004 and 2010, he put online a recipe for his Parmesan cheese grits. And when I tell you, the key is to using a whisk to make your grits creamy. I have made my grits that way ever since I found that G Garvin recipe. So I just put a modified twist on these and use, you know, vegan butter, vegan Parmesan, and you know, it's in the wrist. You need a whisk, but it's also in the wrist motion. So you need a whisk to make your grits really, really creamy. But this is delicious. So the grits are really good and creamy, and I love creamy grits, and just make you feel so good. A good meal to go off to church, or if you're sending your kid back to college. Even if you just want to have a cheap meal, midnight breakfast like we used to do at Tougaloo. Grits, sausage, eggs. And you can have toast or biscuit if you want to. It's optional. You really don't need the extra carbs with the grits, but it's totally your choice. But have you a nice cup of coffee and enjoy. I'm going to finish enjoying my southern breakfast. And it's a little bit of snow outside here in Middle Tennessee. But thank you so much again for watching this video. We appreciate you. We're almost to 200 subscribers. We would like to get there. And again, I apologize for not posting more frequently, but life is busy. I'm sure it's busy for you. So give me a little bit of grace, because it's just busy for everybody. So sometimes it's really hard to post consistently. But I made a vegan chili video that I'm going to upload over the next couple of days. But thank you so much for watching. And please tell me, what are some of the things you would like to see made, or some of your dishes that you would like to see. I'm working on a cookbook and writing and doing things of that nature now that I have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule. But so anticipate some good things coming from Fit Vegans Rock in 2022. Make sure you are working out still, drinking your water, doing doctor's visits. I had 2 visits this week. I'm at the doctor's, making sure I'm up on things and taking care of things. And Tim is working out. I have a new Peloton. We're doing walks, and so this week I think with including today, I would exercise five times this week. So make sure you're hitting it as well. I'm proud of you for wherever you are, and if you're new to this vegan journey, you know there is hope. Don't give up. Keep going. Watch some of our videos. Again, we started in 2017, stopped, and then restarted in almost 2 years ago. This April will make our 2-year vegan anniversary, going at it, you know, full time. So we appreciate you for visiting our channel, and thank you so much for watching this video. Make you some good Southern breakfast and catch you one. Catch you a man, catch you a woman, whoever you're trying to catch you one. Make you good vegan breakfast. All right. Have a good day.